And luckily it went the other way. So when you look at it this way, I'm like, man, this was coming just at the right time. I mean, you never want to see anybody down, but with Eli making that mistake, it was my opening, but then you also have to get it done. And luckily the cards fell the way they fell for me personally.
JB and AC, the energy was awesome. Those two are just like really finding their groove.
4 straight overall wins. $100,000. Adam Cianciarulla. Checkered flag and Justin Brady. Cianciarulla has won the 2019 Webb Pro Championship. He's gonna do it to become the oldest winner in the history of Supercross.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Another episode of the AC and JB show. This one's going to be good. We have a lot to get into. Glendale Supercross. AC and I went to the WM Open, which I have a question to ask before we get too far into this thing. Why is it the WM and not the Waste Management anymore? I don't know. We'll see. But we had the Super Bowl. Seattle Seahawks won, and we're going to Seattle this next week. So that's going to be fun. But AC, it was an action-packed weekend and a lot of fun. And 80 degrees, dude. We were warm this weekend.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I love Glendale. And I was pleasantly surprised because we weren't planning on going to the Waste Management. And then I think you text me on Tuesday and you're like, any interest in changing your flight? It was $400, dude. $400 to change my flight from John Wayne to Phoenix. But I'm glad I did. It was a lot of fun and got to follow Ricky Fowler for a few holes. Went and sat at 16 for a while. Yeah, dude, it was a great weekend, and those guys, they play a different game than you and I.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty unbelievable. It was getting a little rowdy. Hey, did you happen to see that Jack, I forget his last name, but this guy, he's got millions of followers.
Yeah.
And he went to the golf tournament, and he paid for YouTube. He paid somebody $100 to yell jackass in someone's backswing.
Yeah.
Dude, what's going on? Like, why are people like this famous?
Yeah, he's banned for life, right? Can never go to a PGA Tour event.
I just saw that, and I'm like, gosh, this generation beneath me. And look, the older generation always says the same stuff about the newer generation, going back hundreds, even thousands of years. But, dude, come on.
Yeah.
It's a golf tournament.
Yeah. I will say, well, first thing, a couple things on the golf tournament. Is it just a marketing thing to not say Waste Management? Because everyone says WM now. I watched it on TV all day Sunday. WM. Is it like a conscious effort now to not say Waste Management?
Well, if Trevor Immelman and Jim Nance are saying the WM, there's obviously some initiative going on behind the scenes. We're trying to make it a little shorter, make it stand out. Hey, they've done a great job with that tournament. It's pretty much like a football game. I even saw a video with Ricky Fowler, and he was talking about how that is the closest they get to a Supercross type crowd. It gets rowdy, and the one thing that I'm really proud of myself for, JB, and I was really scared about this. We were out all day walking in the sun in Arizona, UV index through the roof, and I didn't get sunburned. I didn't get sunburn. I was unbelievably happy because most of the time, dude, it doesn't matter if I put SPF 100 on. I got that ginger thing going, and then it looks like I'm wearing goggles when we go on race day live. It's like where my sunglasses are is white, everything else is red. So we got the weekend started off in the right direction. I think Glendale. I don't know. I've never heard too many riders complain about Glendale. I think everybody loves it. Everybody we talk to, it's one of the best stops.
Yeah. I caught up with Chris Bondo, the producer on the main broadcast, who Adam and I work with quite a bit. But I caught up with him in the airport yesterday morning, and I said to him, I'm like, I think Glendale's my favorite. I think it's my favorite stop. And he was like, really? And then we just started talking about why it's amazing, and he was kind of like, you're right, man. It is pretty awesome, huh? So I love it. I mean, the stadium is really close to restaurants and hotels and all that. The weather is incredible. The fan fest was going off. You were videoing during opening ceremonies of the crowd. I mean, I heard the biggest crowd we've ever had in Glendale. The place was almost sold out, and it holds 60-some thousand people. So a really, really fun weekend. And I encourage everyone, if you've been to Anaheim 1 and you've been to Daytona, I would say plan Glendale.
Hey, we gotta take a second to talk about the crowds so far this year, because Houston, the Upper Bowl in Houston, I don't even know if they sold those tickets or what, but Houston wasn't sold out. But every other one, I mean, I think there were a few seats in the nosebleeds in Glendale, but not much at all. Yeah. Dude, and I really think a large part of that is because what we're seeing on track right now. You got Hayden, you got Tomac, all the new generation guys. I mean, it's been pretty unbelievable. And from our standpoint, I think it's always makes the job more fun when the environment is like that. Like after we get done with Race Day Live, I always go to Kawasaki, hang out with the guys, make some lunch, get a coffee. And it took me, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes to walk about 200 yards in the pits. I mean, there was no space in the pits whatsoever. So, I don't know what it is about Glendale or just really the season so far. The vibe's through the roof. Ratings are good. It's a good time. It's a good time right now.
When we go east, those Midwest and East Coast fans, there's no shortage of those.
Nuts.
Did you watch the Super Bowl, AC?
Oh, of course. And I ordered some wings and some fries. Oh, wow. Oh, dude, I've actually been pretty good on the diet. Ashley's been cooking for me. I've been eating healthy. I'm training again, whatever. But Sunday, Super Bowl's on. I got 10 wings, fries, big old thing of ranch. You know I'm a ranch guy.
Oh, yeah, me too. Dude, no pizza with the wings? We just went fries?
Just fries. Just fries. I really don't have the stomach capacity I used to have. I can be so hungry and I order 4 different things and I'll eat half of it. So I've had to back it down a little bit. But, man, it's hard for anything to live up to the hype as much as everyone hypes up the Super Bowl. There's those weeks between the AFC and NFC championship. Everything gets built up. And it was definitely a defensive showcase. Not the Patriots were not moving the ball. And we were talking about this the other week. But when a big event like that happens, and, you know, of course, we're former professional athletes, the first thing I think about is I feel bad for the guys that lost. Every time. I just think of all the sacrifices they had to make. Like, and how hard is it to get to a Super Bowl? Like, Drake May's young. The team's pretty young. But the odds of them getting back there are very, very small. They could do it. But to have that opportunity and then the offense to just stall out like that, I felt bad for those guys, man. I really did. I mean, congrats to the Seahawks. That was sick. I wasn't necessarily rooting for anybody. I didn't have a dog in the fight. I'm a Houston Texans guy. But, yeah, defense, dude. All defense.
That's maybe the most random thing I've ever heard you say. You're a Houston Texans guy?
It's a long story. It's a long story, but I was a big fan of Deshaun Watson coming out of Clemson when he went to the Texans, and I just kind of followed him there. And then, of course, my buddy Lawson Craddock, he's one of my best friends. So it just kind of worked out. My mom got me a Deshaun Watson jersey for Christmas, like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And I never really had a football team. Mm-hmm. And look, I'm not a diehard. I'm definitely a casual football fan. But yeah, that's my squad. But what do you think? What do you think?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought the same. Going into the game, you think, who are we cheering for? Beckham and I, well, the whole family, we went across the street to our neighbor's house, and Beckham's like, who are we cheering for, Dad? Who are we cheering for? And I was kind of on the fence because the Seahawks, it's a great story. They're most likely the better team. They're the favorite going in. Sam Darnold, like maybe the best, coolest comeback story in not NFL history, but pretty darn close, like with as many teams as he's been on the last several years. But then I really like Mike Vrabel, and also Drake May. Drake May went to high school like 8 miles up the road that way here in Charlotte, Myers Park High School. So that's kind of cool. So part of me was pulling for them too, but ultimately the better team won. And when you say you feel bad for the losing team, my first thought when they finally got some points on the board was like, okay, like I knew they weren't going to win the game. I think everyone knew that. But at least they scored some points. Because imagine like putting a big goose egg on the scoreboard in the Super Bowl, you don't even score any points. Because at one point it kind of looked like that, like they could have shut them out.
No
so at
doubt.
least they put some points on the board.
100%. Hey, do you ever get? I kind of am. Oh my goodness, this is a tough one to get out. Apparently, leading into the Super Bowl, I saw some media on kind of the Seahawks journey, the head coach coming in and kind of installing a new culture and all this stuff. Do you ever get? I get jealous of that kind of camaraderie of a team sport. I think it would be super cool. Of course, I'm glad I went the dirt bike racing route. I stood no chance in football or basketball, baseball, anything like that. But it's kind of cool, like the camaraderie, the guys. I don't know. I like that.
Yeah, and also it's hard to come by, right? Like even in our sport, it's hard to come by. To try to get, in our sport, there's 15 to 20 guys on a team. To try to get everyone rowing in the same direction is really difficult. How about getting like, how many people are on a football team? Like coaches, assistant coaches, all that, hundreds, right? Is there a couple hundred people on a team?
I don't know staff wise. I know there's a 53-man roster for the regular season for players. Staff wise, though, I mean, dude, the sidelines, like anytime they make a play, there's 200 people on the sidelines in Seahawks attire, like just hell yeah, let's go. That's cool.
Yeah. So try to get all those people rowing in the same direction. That'd be
straight up. Hey, speaking of wins, let's go ahead and get kicking it with Kenny started right now, presented by Fox Racing. Let's get him on. Let's talk about this W.
All right, Kenny, we're just going to get right to it, man. What a ride. That was awesome.
I honestly don't really know where it came from. Like, I guess having a start, I haven't been that far in front, or not in front, like I went kind of like side by side with a couple of guys into the first turn, and just like having that open track where, like, let's call it top 3, you know what I mean? That just makes the world of difference to get in your own flow. You're just not, I think the start helped me for sure. But in the end, I don't know where it came from. I just was on it. I don't know. I just rode.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that, because I texted you after the race and you text me back and you said, I wasn't expecting that. And JB and I on RDL, we've been looking at these stats all day long, and your average finish there is like, what, 2.5, 3.0 or something. Crazy. The only guy that's even comparable in that building to you is
Eli.
Is Tomac. So I text you, I'm like, well, I expected it. I picked you for the win, and thank you for that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just you go through practice, and that's normally never really my thing. And to be quite honest, the whole time, especially also in qualifying too, like I felt like I was ripping, but then nothing special when it comes to lap times. But the rhythms, they were so long and fast, and there were a couple of different ways of doing it. And I got my last lap in the second qualifying session, and all of a sudden I jumped to the P3. But I just don't know. I guess you go into the weekend and everybody already says that, and brings it up that I always do good here. And I'm like, guys, I don't know. Like, I grew up on dirt like this, but it's been 15 years since I've been home. Like, I guess certain things stick with you, and that's maybe what it is, because I mean, the dirt ain't that different to a couple of the other hard pack tracks, or sometimes when California gets hard, like, it's not that different. It's not like we're comparing snow and mud. So I don't know. It ended up working out again. So I'll probably be talking about the same thing next year.
There was 2 parts of the track for me. The rhythm lane, the long one before the mechanics area, you were like a bike length faster than Hunter through there. When you were behind him, you would suck up on him there every lap. And then once you got in the lead, you pulled away from him there. And then the sand section, that inside in the sand section, dude, it was like Lommel 2010 or something. You look good through there.
Yeah. So first off, that rhythm lane, I ended up just becoming, the track was, it's always big. It was built big. It was pretty steep. So the rhythms in themselves were no joke, because especially in that area, we triple out of the turn, you ride across the Star Straight, you pick up a lot of speed. And then the takeoff of that one was pretty like steep and short. And then you're landing that triple into a face of a 5-footer that was really steep. So tricky area, but I got really comfortable. And I think in multiple rhythm lane of getting down the exact distance and just really am able to soak it up, if that makes sense, right? So I felt like I was really fast across the start straight, soaking that next triple up. I had so much forward momentum. And that's why you most of the time see me adjusting a little bit with my legs. I kind of drop my legs or something. This is all to when you try to go faster and faster and you hit things a lot faster than what you should to just make the distance because we try to soak it up, right? You're going to lose a little bit that way. And so it is really, really hard to land exactly where you want to, but there's all these little micro adjustments that you can do just to kind of ever so slightly slow that momentum down going forward. And there was actually one specific area, the rhythm lane before that, which after the whoops, how we went 2, 2, 3, you had to kind of like land that 3 perfectly to be able to jump that big double all the way across. If everything hits perfect, you'll make it no problem. But if you over jump it a little bit, because that takeoff had a little bit of, believe it or not, but I think it had a little bit of like mush to it, especially in practice, because it was just kind of loose and softer there. So you'd soak up a lot of the speed. And to be able to give a little bit of reserve, you just push through the rhythm lanes, and sometimes you can just go a little bit too far. And I drop my leg a little bit to just kind of slow that momentum down and just, make the slightest difference. But it worked. It helps a lot.
Backing up a little bit, I think it was on the podium or maybe post-race interview, you said you did some testing this week. What were you looking for, and did you find it?
Yeah, so if I'm quite honest, I've been doing some clutch testing because I have been on my slipper clutch, the setup that I've been riding for multiple years now, never ventured away from it. And it's been working out for the most part. But at the same time, I am usually a pretty good starter. And it's kind of fizzled away a little bit. And not necessarily my average position over multiple races, but more so that I have to be too perfect to be in the top 5. And that it's not, that happens seldom, when you have a lot of riders next to you. So I feel like I wasn't getting off the gate very well and just didn't have enough jump. And we've kind of been talking about it for a little bit, but at the same time, I was so happy with everything. It's really hard to, and that's what I meant. Like I'll start testing when I feel like I need to. And that's exactly what we did. We just kind of went to work this week. I went away from the slipper clutch, believe it or not. And which is the first time in a long, long, long time. But my overall setup, suspension-wise and chassis, has been set for so long that I was kind of, ready to roll that dice. And it's either, it's not always as simple as better or not, because there are certain things that I love about the slipper clutch, and there's other things that I love about the conventional clutch, start being one of them. And we just kind of rolled the dice. I did some testing with Jamie from Twisted Development as well, to help me out and make the bike as close to my characteristic, that I had before. But it's always a little bit of a question mark. You got to deliver as well when you come to the races. And I didn't want to overthink it too much. And then unless something drastically would hit the fan and I have to kind of throw a Hail Mary after, whether it's the heat race, sometimes you go with your setup into the heat race and then realize we got to change it whenever that time would be. But I didn't want to plan my entire day around it. So I kind of just ran with it, and it ended up working out.
Seems like the more times you win as you get older, they're obviously more and more special. A couple of years ago, I believe it was your Indy win. You're like, man, these don't come along as much as they used to. But this one in particular, obviously with Larry Brooks going through what he's going through, battling cancer, the team made it public knowledge last week. You had mentioned it to us privately a couple weeks ago. This one had to feel pretty good, not only for you and having Griff there and Courtney was there, but also for Larry. And obviously you gave him a shout out on the podium, but this one is pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a bummer not having him there, but I know that he's there in spirit. He won't, the entire day we're texting back and forth from morning till night about the videos that his son sends, because he does our dartfish. And so we're constantly talking. Having said that, this, was announced this weekend, but obviously we internally in the team have known for a couple of weeks now. He hasn't been coming to the last couple of races, 2-3 races. And so I had my mind set on that more at previous races. Like Anaheim 2, I think, was the first race that he actually wasn't there. And I really because the news we talked about, I guess we didn't really know to what extent and what exactly, but it just was, was what it was. So I'm like, man, he's not at the races. Like, I want to win this race for him so bad, but things just didn't really quite work out. And coming here now, once I actually finally got the win, he wasn't there. I kind of let it melt in my head a little bit that, man, this is really special, because obviously we've had a few wins together, but not that many. So right now they haven't been coming by that often. So every time we get one, it's sweeter and sweeter. And it just was unfortunate that he wasn't there. But just like you said, I felt like once I went through the finish line jump and kind of let everything set in a little bit, this just felt right. And he was obviously beyond stoked. The whole team was. It's just one of those things that kind of takes a little bit. I was so wound up afterwards. Like, I actually stepped in a plane. I changed my flight to fly home that night because there was no way I would have been able to sleep anyways. So I might as well just get home.
Yeah.
That's a tale as old as time right there. I could never sleep. I could never sleep either. But yeah, Larry, man, he's one of the best guys in the pits.
It's hard out not having him there, just because, we have a pretty smooth program. What I'm saying is, whether he's there or not, like, I'm comfortable. We're doing our thing. I have no doubts, but obviously I would much rather have him there for peace of mind. And so I think we got it very good under control, but nothing beats having the whole crew there.
You know what impressed me the most about the race is in the job that we have now, Ken, it's all about storylines, and everyone knows you're super fast right out of the gate. Like, nobody can make moves in the opening laps like you. And then with Hunter, he's a guy that's kind of better at the end of the race. Like, he builds into it a little bit. And we were watching lap times on our monitor, and it's like you got yourself like a 4 or 5 second gap. And it's like every time I thought you were going to drop off a little bit and kind of not because you're tired or anything, but just kind of back it down. It's like you were still faster. You were still faster. And even JB even made a comment, like the last lap, you were still pushing. So I don't know. It was cool for me to see. That was just like a dominant ride. You were up on the wheel the whole time.
Yeah, I got in a little bit of a flow state, just like when you get in that runner's high, when things just, it's not effortless, but it feels just like, okay, I got to flow around the track. All I got to do now is be ready, because we talked about these 90-degree turns on dirt like that. The front can go at any time. So it's almost like you want to expect it, even though it's not happening. So I was so in tune and honed in on just that, because there were no ruts in those 90-degree turns. You have a little hard packed ledge that's about a half an inch tall sometimes that you try to kind of like bank off a little bit, and you got to be ready for something to happen even when it's not happening, to be able to catch that. So I was just very focused. And like you said, I guess I felt like I had enough in the tank and around the track that if something went sideways and I had to push, that I could have gone more. At the same time, especially in the beginning of the races, man, he's been good though lately, Hunter.
Yeah,
I tried in San Diego to make my way by him real quick, realized that it didn't happen. So I was kind of playing a little bit with the idea of, maybe I just find my groove right now, see where I have more momentum, see where I can make it happen. It was a difficult track to pass on due to the speed that we have. But I quickly did realize, it was actually after the mechanics area, that left-hander, I went around the inside, even though that wasn't my preferred line, even on the parade lap, like going into that, I didn't want to go to that inside, but I had to a couple of times because I was too close to Hunter and he was going outside anyways. I would have just gotten roosted and probably not gotten nothing out of it. So I went to the inside and I did one tiny little slide out, but it slowed up my momentum just enough to where I lost a lot of gap to the front. And then you actually see me looking back on the broadcast, because I realized that somebody coming from the outside, they're just going to slingshot and have so much more speed. So I looked back and Cooper was right there. So right then and there, I'm like, okay, let's get everything back together and back in order. But then quickly realized I was right on Hunter again, and just realized I had more momentum around the track. So at that point, I was like, man, even, I'm just going to try. I got nothing to lose. I'm just going to make a pass. And if it's not enough in the end, so be it. You know what I mean? I don't want to fall into that. I don't want to worry about it too much. It's just, if I feel like I can do it, I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to overthink it. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. And then afterwards, I just felt like I was clicking off laps and laps and laps. And they were really fast. I noticed that I had multiple laps in a row of just really hitting my marks and realizing that I'm like, man, if I can keep this up just a little bit more, you can have that somewhat comfortable gap where you just have a little bit of room for air. And that's exactly what happened. So towards the end, I know he tried again the last 3 laps. I was a little bit worried getting closer to the lappers because we just know that some people don't like to move out of the way. And when we are fighting, like, yes, I did put a gap on, but to be able to maintain that or not lose drastically, like a tiny mistake can be pretty costly. And once the guy behind you sees that he's inching, like the momentum can just switch. And so I was a little bit nervous getting into traffic, but I revved my bike in the back, and luckily I got through everything pretty decently and just kind of maintained, honestly.
You know what? It has to feel pretty good off the back end of Houston, because you fairly easily could have won that race. Look, none of them are easy, but it was the first time we had maybe seen you a little bit frustrated on the podium, and I think you've said that publicly. Like, look, a few years ago, you would have killed for a podium, right? Like, they're difficult to come by. Now they're becoming more and more frequent. So Adam and I actually talked about that in one of the meetings, or I forget, at some point over the weekend. Like, we haven't seen Ken that kind of bummed out on a podium in a long time. So in saying all that, it has to feel good literally the next weekend to get a win and tick that box to start 26.
Yeah, and ultimately it was really just that it was the difference between first and third. It wasn't second and third or second and first or whatever. It just was the difference of after the race, after the last main, going back to Houston, after the start, things happened with Cooper and RJ on the finish line. I got through it cleanly, and then I was like, okay, I have to be ahead of Cooper, and I have to be right behind. I don't know if I could have been. I was in tune at that point. I don't know if it was 2 spots behind Hunter or only 1 spot behind Hunter. So I was pretty confident or comfortable with the idea that I'm going to get there, and everything was fine. And then certain events, some on me just not doing the rhythm, and the cards fell that way, and it was the difference between first and third, and that's what just frustrated me a little bit, because these bigger point swings, and nowadays we talk about big point swings, and it could be 5 to 7 points, which you don't think about it much, but at that point it is. So when it's laying on the table and I just couldn't get it done, that's what frustrated me, right? But I agree with you. I feel like this Glendale race was a little bit, I wouldn't say a make or break race, but you know how it is. I was 14 points. It was either 12 or 14 points behind in the championship after Houston. By having an off night, like what Eli had, it could have easily gone to 25 or something, like to a full race real quick. And luckily it went the other way. So when you look at it this way, I'm like, man, this was coming just at the right time. I mean, you never want to see anybody down, but with Eli making that mistake, it was my opening, but then you also have to get it done. And luckily the cards fell the way they fell for me personally. So yeah, it just came at the right time.
You know what I think, and I made this comment watching the main event at Anaheim 1, for both you and Eli, but you specifically, we've talked a lot about how you've evolved kind of mentally, but to me, on track right now, it looks like, and even at the speeds you guys are going, which is insane, it looks like things are coming at you slower. Like that's what it looks like to me. Like you look calmer. You look like you're riding with more conviction, and it just looks, it looks like it's slowed down for you to me. And I don't know if you feel that way at all, but that's what it looks like.
I don't know what it is or what I feel, to be honest. I just think that over my work that I've done throughout the winter time and the off-season races, that I feel pretty in tune for the most part. And having said that, I had to work my way to not stand out a little bit, but I had to reach a next level when it came to whether it was carrying momentum or just pure raw speed and then maintaining that. So I had some work to do personally, and I did that. And now going to the races, I just know, I guess I've put in the intensity in practice as if it was race day for the most part leading up to Anaheim.
Yeah.
And so I think my standard is just a little bit higher now, like I just know the speed and I know what I have to feel like physically. Even at the end of a race, when you go all out, you just feel some type of way. And I just know what that is like at the moment. So it just comes naturally at the moment, right? Going that speed. I know where I have to be to contend for a win. And I think I'm just in tune.
Hey, thanks for blowing Mark and I that kiss before the main event. Appreciate that.
Too funny. Me and Court were talking about it. Like, I knew that where she was standing because she filmed me in the heat race, and so I knew where she was at. And I looked up earlier, actually, before we did the parade lap, and I saw her there. And then on the way back, I look up and I'm blowing her this kiss. Court is looking nowhere near me, but JB is like staring at me like this. And I'm like, oh God, this is going to look wrong. Or it was Mark, like, or both of you guys. I don't even know what it was, but I'm like, okay, that did definitely not go to Court, but it was meant for Court.
That reminds me, Adam, when he did that. Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So Court. Well, Courtney was standing right next to us for the viewers at home or folks listening to this. So our booth was right over the start this weekend, which one of the best of the year. We can get into that later. It was awesome. It was awesome. So Court would come up and watch with us, and you could totally see right down the sight was awesome to the start. So Ken's coming back from his parade lap, looks up and blows a kiss, and I look over at Court. I'm like, Court, did you see that? And she's like, what? See what? And I'm like, oh, Ken just blew you a kiss. And she's like, oh no, I missed it. So then Mark and I, after the race, we're talking to Ken and we were all laughing about, oh, you blew Mark the kiss, so it was pretty funny.
That reminded me, I got to send you guys the video, because when on the last lap, Ken, I obviously knew Courtney was there, and I got the phone out and I started filming Courtney's reaction. Figured it'd be a good
she told me about that. She's like, hey, did Adam send you a video? And I'm like, no, he texted me, but he didn't send a video.
Yeah, I've totally forgot about it. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me. Funny.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, what a weekend.
Yeah, amazing. So championship-wise, obviously too early to start talking about championship and that, but 5 points down. And so during that race, obviously you're in the lead, but did you know Eli was down, or did you know where Chase was? Like, are you watching at that point? Because you said you looked over. Okay, you know where Coop is. Coop's behind you. You know Hunter's winning. Like, do you assess things like that while the race is going on?
To be quite honest, there are races where I'm fully aware of what and how and what's going on. This race in particular, and even though I had a full frontal view of it, because after the start, when we came around mechanics area and then we go back down the start straight, I saw a KTM laying there. And I should have probably glanced over, but I totally didn't, because I had Freeze in front of me and all I was thinking about is like, I got to get by this guy like now, totally. 5 seconds ago, basically.
Yeah.
So I figured it was him, but I wasn't 100% sure. I just was so locked in on Hunter and what I'm doing that I didn't really notice much that went on behind me. I obviously knew that Coop was right behind, but other than that, it was like tunnel vision a little bit.
Yeah, see, it's not like you saw Eli and you were thinking, now's my chance. Now's my chance to get some points.
And it depends the track sometimes. If you're, I think it's more particular in slower tracks that when you jump up, certain riders are across the other side or across the other lane, and you just always kind of glance at them, or you just see who it is and you can lock in on somebody. But for that track, it was too fast, and I just had full-blown tunnel vision. I had no idea what was going on.
It's interesting going back to what you said about making a clutch change, because when we went to the Great, and especially when I got on the 450, even if I did starts at the practice track on my own, I could feel like I was getting a good start at the practice track, and then I would go to the race and it wouldn't always be great. And it's interesting you said you went away from the slipper clutch, because my biggest problem was always wheeling, getting the front end too high and then having a double clutch. But if I did it, you can also drag the clutch too much down the start straight and not let it completely out soon enough. But the tough part is how do you get all of the power without doing a backflip down the start straight? So what is it, like, what makes a difference? Do you have a common mistake that you make if you get a bad start? Is there one particular thing?
It really depends, because with the slipper clutch, I felt like it was a little bit more out of my hands. So I was always like, basically my answer was like, man, I can't start better than what I started right there, but I'm not where I need to be. I'm not shooting out of the gate. And there's just certain areas on the start where that is super critical. And I just wasn't getting that. So I was just like, it's hard for me now to know like what I'm doing wrong, because when I don't have that, I just have a little bit more feel and I can, I guess, be more in control. So if something gets messed up, I can more pinpoint like, oh, I dumped the clutch, or like whatever happened, I can pinpoint it a lot better. And before that, I just couldn't, because sometimes I would have a pretty crazy chatter. on the gate before the gate even drops or whatever. And then I wanted to drop my clutch and it wouldn't like disengage all the way. It just was very inconsistent. I shouldn't say very, but there are variations and inconsistencies. And when we're not starting in dirt anymore in there, it's just so important to you have to be on point to be able to get a hole shot. And I just was too far from it.
JB, I don't know if people realize that in order to get the hole shot in a 450 main event, I mean, you have to get the best start of your life.
Yeah.
You have to get the best start of your life, and there's a chance that that's only going to be top 5, top 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
True.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, think about how powerful the bikes are, the insane amount of grip that you have. I mean, those are basically razor sharp grates and with a rubber tire. Like, they're going to cut in there and just shoot you forward. So to get maximum power on the ground without wheeling and shooting forward, and your body position has to be right, your shift has to be on point, you have to slip your clutch, your legs need to be tight. Like, there's just so much that goes into it. And then even then, when you're 80%, 90% close to perfect, which is pretty dang good, it's probably not enough, like you said, for even a top 3 start.
What about lining up for a guy like you, Ken? Like, do you look at, obviously you look at the position and then the condition in front of the gate. But do you ever look at, let's just say you have 5th gate pick going to the line. Do you line up next to someone on purpose or not next to someone on purpose? Like say Prado, he's a great starter right now. Tomac's getting some good starts. Hunter's a good starter. Will you go next to them on purpose to try and cut them off or get there with them, or will you not go next to them? Or does it not even matter for a guy like you that's such a great starter?
It's hard. It really depends that who it is. You got to look at the quality of the rut after the gate. And then, of course, depending on how tight the start is, certain insides are just more critical than starting in the middle of the box. From now on, that I feel like I'm getting, and I still need to practice more with the clutch, right? I want to lock in a lot more, but the better I get and the more I can trust my feeling, that will determine where I go on the start sometimes. Because if I'm a little bit outside, but I have a borderline almost perfect rut, and there are not many of that, well, then I'm a lot more guaranteed to get a good jump and put myself somewhere up front, right? So from here on out, I just have to pay close attention to it. Make sure we make the right decisions.
When it comes to, sorry, JB, when it comes to the championship stuff, where are you at with that mentally? Is it as simple as taking it race by race, just doing the best you can on Saturday and moving on? Or do those thoughts enter your mind at all that, man, I may be good enough to do this thing?
I guess yes. Having said that, it's so early still where all these races kind of feel the same right now. Like, you can't afford a big mistake. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I think that'll change once we get more down to the wire. You know, you got to think about it. But it's right now, it's so anybody's game where you just got to go out and do your best. Like, I know it sounds so cliche, but it's like, you just never know what's going to happen. And somebody can go on a podium streak, and then look at Eli. He's had a couple of races now where things didn't work out. And when you see him ride in the first couple of weekends, like, you just don't think that those things are going to happen. But yet again, they just do. And they can happen to any of us at any time, and probably will at some point. So I don't really know what to say about it. It's right now, you just don't want to be far off the back. But even if that happens, you got to look at the points and just know that things can happen at any time. So I guess never giving up and just staying in it until we get closer down the stretch. I mean, that's the name of the game right now.
Well said.
We all have favorite venues. How do we feel about Seattle?
Rough one. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard to say. I do like the mud, but it's really hard to say something positive about it, because most of the time we're racing with a track with cut practices, and it's pretty much a death trap around there, because the track gets so ruddy and so muddy, and every time it rains. So it looks like the weather again, right? Thursday on or something like that, it's going to be wet. Man, I don't know. It's hard because we've never had a full race day, I feel like, or hardly ever, I love the stadium. I love going up there, but just the weather's so hit or miss. And now the fact that it's quite a bit earlier than what it used to be, everything that I've heard from people that live there is that that's the worst they could have done when it comes to weather. But
where are we at on?
Maybe it'll work out, even though it's the opposite way to go. But
where are we at on handguards if it's wet?
It's a good question. I don't love them, but
You don't like
when
them?
it's muddy. I mean, I
Come
might throw some
on.
on. Would you like me to throw some on if it's muddy? Because I will.
Yeah.
Brother. I mean, I would pay you to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. Ask me on Saturday, or I'll think about it on Saturday. If I feel frisky, I'll throw them on for you.
We can get an AC and JB graphic kit, like
For the
AC on the one hand guard, JB on the other. That'd be tight.
Sam
Sweet.
from SK will dial us in for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll look good.
You can always go Barkbusters.
I think, aren't they illegal?
They've got to be, right?
Yeah,
They have to
there's
be.
no way you'd be breaking forearms
People's
out there.
elbows.
Yeah.
Ken, appreciate you, man. We'll see you in Seattle. Awesome win in Glendale. That was so fun to watch. And put on a clinic in Glendale once again. It was cool.
Yep. No,
Good
you
job,
guys
dude.
are right. I'm enjoying it. It's Monday right now, and I'm still trying to just be chill about it. But at the same time, you want to enjoy these moments because they are super hard to get, even just going on the podium. So the fact that at least half of my family was there, because a lot of the times none of them go. So I was able to share that with them. I've been telling Griff that I'm going to bring him home a big trophy one of these nights, and here we are.
And to have him there, right? That was
Made it
awesome.
happen.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a meeting with our agent Steve Astven this weekend because, I think with us, JB and I really giving you this platform, bringing you all these fans, giving you all this support.
You deserve something.
I think it'd only be right if we worked out some type of bonus structure.
As long as it comes out of the family's pocket.
That's awesome. You're the man, dude. Great work.
See you guys next week.
Good job. Kenny was good, man.
Yeah.
He was so good this weekend. He said he wasn't really like expecting it. It's kind of surprising with how good he is there and how good he's been all season.
Well, do you remember the story I told you about Millville 2016?
Yeah, that's right.
You remember that one?
Yeah, so he went
from 38th to first in 3 laps, and he said he came off the track and he's like, I don't know what everybody's freaking out about. I felt terrible.
And during the week, he would say that too, right? He'd blow everyone's doors off and be like, man, I don't feel that good today. He's like 3 seconds a lap faster than everyone.
Yeah, you just lapped me twice in a 20+1, dude. I don't want to hear about how you can't stand your front end or something.
Yeah.
But I did say that when we were calling the show to the house, it looked like he had one of those flow state races. And I'm glad he said that because, I think certain tracks kind of allow that more than others. You go somewhere like in Indy or this week in Seattle, it's going to be really difficult to like click off those laps and find that flow. But I think that's why Glendale is such a favorite. Because if you can find a flow there and you're comfortable on that dirt, you have a lot of fun on your dirt bike.
Mm-hmm. Sort of test tracky, right?
Yeah.
Like if you can find a floor on a test track,
Yep.
a 20-minute moto isn't that difficult. You just find your groove. You hit the same
line.
Literally hit the same inch every single lap. And Kenny looked like he was doing that. And then it's less energy, huh? Once you find that flow, it's like your heart rate's more calm. You breathe a little better rather than the ruts changing every lap. And then you hold your breath because you cased a triple out of a corner because the rut was so gnarly. And for this, you're right. You nailed it, getting that flow state. And it becomes kind of easy. It's not the right word for it, but you know what I mean? Like it becomes kind of like just automatic.
Last thing on the track, I think that thinking back and why I loved Glendale so much, it feels like there's less stuff that can happen outside of your control at Glendale. If for some reason on a track like that, you just feel in charge of your own destiny. Because it's not changing all the time. It's pretty open. The lanes are wide. You can get by lappers. I don't know. I love that place. We should go to Glendale twice. That's where I'm at.
I'd be into it. You know what would be good? Ooh, I just thought of this. A playoff round there.
Yeah.
You could even go outside.
That would be tight.
You could even go outside. Yeah, I like that.
All right, where are we starting first?
2018. Big old turn down off the finish line there. Heat win, the 10, about 30. I don't know, what was I?
33.
I'm not great at math. 30, whatever. And dude, just big turn down.
So
like I was
good.
25 again.
So good.
Yeah.
Where are we starting first? We talking Tomac, Hunter, where do you want to go? Take it away.
Let's go Hunter Lawrence.
Love it.
The narrative is going to be, once again, we're going to get these questions. We're going to do fan questions later on the show. I'm sure there's probably questions in there. Does Hunter Lawrence have to win? He's got 4 second-place finishes now in a row. He's climbing the list to match Guy Cooper for most second-place finishes without a win. I don't want to hear it. He's fine. He's totally fine. He does not need to win. He does not have to win this weekend in Seattle. He's just going to click off podiums. And Ricky Carmichael said it on Race Day Live this weekend, which it's been awesome to have RC join us at the desk. It's been a lot of fun.
So good.
Yeah, it's been a ton of fun. But with the competition at the top right now, with so many different guys that could win, look, 4 guys have won in the first 5 races. So there's a lot of good guys. And I'm with RC. Like right now, you don't necessarily have to win because so many different guys can win, and there's chunks of points being taken out each and every weekend. If Hunter can just be on the podium, let the field thin out a little bit. We hope it doesn't, but if history repeats itself, it typically does. Then it's going to be important to win, and I think he will win. That's my stance on Hunter Lawrence. He's fine. He's fine, folks.
I struggle to talk about this on even when we do Race Day Live. I mean, these are the storylines. Like that's our job to talk about this stuff. Mm-hmm. But being a racer not long ago at all, I just think to myself, if I was Hunter, this is the last stuff that I would want to listen to right now.
Yeah.
Because, dude, you know how it is. Anytime, and I know you've been there in your career. You mentioned getting your first podium at Anaheim 1 in 2008. It is so difficult when you make a step. Like he clearly, and we had Lars on the show, which was great, very insightful this weekend. But he has made a step now where he has the pace to compete for these championships. And it's so difficult when you make that step and you're applying it on the weekends and all of a sudden you're there. It is just straight up human nature to create a new expectation for yourself. It would be so easy for him to get a little outside of his comfort zone, to get a little too fixated on getting a win. Like it takes a lot of discipline, no matter what you've done in your life, no matter what you've been through, it takes a lot of discipline to just keep doing what you're doing and block it all out. And that's what I think that's one of the most unique things about Hunter is that for the most part, you have someone like a Chase Sexton who, when he came into the 450 class, and you can say the same thing about James Stewart, Ricky Carmichael, a lot of these guys, when they got to the class, they were already fast enough to win. They already had it, but they had to figure out how to keep it on 2 wheels. They had to figure out all the little nuances, all the little intangibles you need to be a championship guy. And of course, they did figure it out, and they went on to win a bunch of championships. But Hunter's different. Hunter, because of the struggles early in his career and the way he kind of slowly built himself up, like literally brick by brick, he has that. He has the intangibles. He knows what to do. He knows how to make decisions under pressure. He knows how to get a good start when he absolutely needs to. He knows how to fix his mistakes, not overreact, not buy into the noise, not ride the roller coaster. But he had all that, like when he came into the class, but he didn't have the speed. And guys that are like that, a lot of them never find the speed. Like that's the hardest thing. That's why you always hear in dirt bike racing, we can work with speed. And that's why there's so many kids throughout the years, especially in the 250 class, they get hurt a lot. And everybody asks the team, like, why does this guy still have a factory ride? Because race winning speed is hard to find, hard to teach. And so I think that's a unique thing about Hunter now, is that he has the speed, but he hasn't gotten ahead of himself at all. I almost think it's more impressive that he's gotten 4 second places in a row, because you can't fake that.
No.
Like, if you were just frothing out the mouth for a win and super frustrated with getting second and hyper fixated on winning, you wouldn't be able to go out there and make the decisions that he does. Like, even in that race when Kenny got by him right away, it's not like he clicked fifth in the whoops and just decided to come in at 70 miles an hour and just like, dude, I can't lose anymore. So if anything, I think it's more impressive, JB. But yeah, I mean, championship lead, Tomac on the ground in the first turn. It's not a bad place to be at all. And in my opinion, like the last two tracks, you can say the same thing for Cooper Webb. I do not think that is Hunter's sweet spot. Mm-hmm. Like that's Ken's deal. That's Eli's deal. Hunter's deal is Seattle or Indianapolis, like these tracks that are ultra technical, tight, speeds are slower. So, I mean, he couldn't be in a better position. This is a dream start to the year.
There's one more thing that I witnessed this weekend from Hunter Lawrence that once again told me everything I needed to know about his mentality. The first one of the season, listeners of the show will know this one, Anaheim 2, when he passed Eli Tomac with authority and didn't look back, I was like, oh, wow. Like, yeah. Eli's won 2 in a row. Yeah. Hunter just said, nah, get out of the way. I'm out of here. I was like, oh, my goodness. On this show, I was like, that told me everything I needed to know about where he is in this championship and his mentality. Another thing this weekend, I said this to you before the gate dropped in the main event. So Jorge Prado wins his heat race. We all know how great of a starter Jorge is. He's arguably the best in the world. Hunter Lawrence said, I don't really care. I've lined up next to you before. I lined up next to you at Anaheim and cut you off. You kind of gave me some crap for it. I'm going to line up next to you again, man, and I'll hole shot you. And he did. And I'm like, so I'm looking down there. Once again, we had a great sight line of the start. So we're like analyzing. We could see the rut just perfect. So Jorge, he had a first or second gate pick. So his rut is great. Like it's a really, really good one. And then he does a start. It was a little bit crooked, but he could do a start on his parade lap, on his sighting lap, to where it would straighten it out, which he did. And then I'm thinking, man, Hunter, why would you go next to maybe the best starter? But I'm like, wait, Hunter's a great starter too. So anyway, so like just the mind games that goes on. That's one of the reasons why I asked Kenny, like, hey, what are you thinking? Like when you're trying to line up, are you going against guys that you think you can beat or know you can beat? Or do you line up kind of in the gate that it doesn't really matter who you're lined up next to? So once again, more of a mentality of like, I don't care how good a starter you are, I'm a better starter. And then he beats him to the first turn. And I'm just like, man, this is like, he is just so regimented on his deal. He's going to do his start, his laps, and we talk about Johnny O a lot in that camp over there. And like, he is very specific on like, just do our deal. Think about us. And I know it's cliche and it's hard to do, but they do it better than anybody, and specifically Hunter. So,
yeah, I think, man, it's just an easy story for me to root for again, because I just understand the mental evolution. I get it. I get the stuff he went through, and I get arriving to the place he has. I really do. He's a dog, man.
He is.
He's a dog, and he slowly built it up. There's been times, like even probably last year, like there's times where I just think, he's probably pretty close to his ceiling. Top 5 to podium guy, winning some races here and there. I mean, dude, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, unbelievable. But
yeah,
dude,
speaking of Hunter, if you want to look like him or look like Ken Roczen, the race winner, get some SK Designs, skda.com. You want to look like Adam Cianciarulo, go to skda.com. Get some good-looking graphics for your new bike, your used bike, whatever you want, get you dialed in. You want some green backgrounds on your bike, like AC? Do that. You want some red backgrounds like Hunter Lawrence is about to have on his Honda? They've got that as well. Go check them out. Top 2 this weekend, AC, SKDA.
Love it.
Box.
Love it, dude. And that's 2 weekends in a row for Eli Tomac. Had that crash at the Triple Crown in the second race, crashed in the first corner, got collected. I think Christian Craig, he just slid out in front of him.
Yep.
And that was all she wrote. But man, I felt the frustration with Eli because even being as great as he is, or any of these guys, the speed that he had the last couple weekends, remember that 46 he threw down at Houston in practice? Mm-hmm. And this weekend he was Prado qualified fastest, which that's going to be a whole nother discussion. But he was right there. He looked, he looked great. He clearly had the pace to win. And when you're feeling that great, you have that much speed, things are coming to you pretty easily. I think both of the faster style tracks the last 2 weekends, I think that's Eli's wheelhouse. I think that's his best condition. And when you make a mistake that wasn't really his fault this weekend, I mean, he could have got a better start. But when you make a mistake when you're feeling that good, and you let one get away, it's different when you go to a track like how he was at Anaheim 2, for example. He wasn't that good. He was pretty good, but wasn't that good in practice, wasn't that good in his heat race, and he got out of there with a third. I mean, you're stoked on that because maybe the bike was a little off, maybe he didn't like the track, whatever. But when it's clearly he's been firing on all cylinders and the mistakes happen, that's you feel like you let a couple get away. There, for sure. But again, the riding is unbelievable. The only thing that I guess have a question about this weekend is it kind of took him a while to get going, JB. I mean, he could have had the wind knocked out of him. Who knows? He could have been in a lot of pain. The bike could have been bent up. I don't know. But it took him a long time to get back on the bike. I mean, it took him probably 5 or 6 laps to catch. I think it was Josh Cartwright who was in 21st. So that was a little, I guess, maybe a little strange to me, just considering the circumstances. I mean, of course, you can't afford, especially with the field right now, to lose a lot of points. But he must have just been hurting, yeah?
He had to be because the way he got up, he got really slow, kind of was shaking things off. Look, you and I have been there before. When you crash, you're like, man, you're reassessing your body.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, my shoulders are good. Are my legs okay? I kind of knocked my head a little bit. I think I feel okay. And then he got back to his bike. And then I just think it took a few laps. Now, the one thing, and we can maybe check in this weekend, you know how sometimes your bars are bent or your front wheel's tweaked and it takes you 2 laps to kind of get used to where your front tire is?
Yeah.
That just could have been it. Maybe it was his body, like, all right, getting back to it, but also learning how to ride a bent up bike. Because we can all ride bent up bikes almost as fast as you can ride a normal bike. But you have to get used to it on where the front tire is. If the front tire is a little tweaked or if your bars are tweaked, you just have to figure out where the tire is. So then you know where to put your bars and your fender, and then you can get into rut. So I wonder if that's why it took him a little bit. Because once he got going, and I have lap times right here, he did a 57.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was rolling, dude.
Yeah, once he got rolling. So, yeah, took him a little bit of time, but unfortunately coughed up some points and to no fault of his own. I mean, that first qualifying session of the weekend, he was unreal, qualified fastest, and we're just like,
here we go.
He can't be stopped here. He cannot be stopped. He averaged 2.2 in 10 starts at this place. So he can't be stopped. It's why I picked him to win. I was going to apologize to Kenny earlier that, sorry, I didn't pick him. You did. You picked the 9.
I was on the fence.
You're right. Yeah, I think we both were, and we went opposite directions. But yeah, I mean, he's going to be in this thing. There's no doubt. He looks so good on the bike. It's just
fine.
Yeah, he's totally fine.
And Kenny just said it, man. I mean, this stuff comes for all of them at some point. It's already happened to Webb this year. It's happened to Tomac. I mean, there's too many variables for it to not happen like that sometimes. Not a complete disaster. It would have been easy when you go down like that in the first turn. Somebody runs over your bike and you bends your rotor, and then then he'd be 28 back, which is a big problem. Yeah, but he's fine. Well, I guess the only reason watching him kind of get up slow and take a while to get going, the only reason that stood out to me is because I remember MetLife Stadium 2017. Remember when he's battling for that championship with Dungey?
Think about that.
Yeah. And he tipped over in that left-hand turn before the triple. It took him a while to get going again. But I don't know. I mean, it's Eli Tomac. You got to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure he's black and blue. His whole side of his body's black and blue today. But, yeah, dude, I don't think anything to panic about for Eli.
No.
He's got the pace. He looks good on the bike. He'll be fine.
Well, you led me right to it. We're going to unpack the weekend. Brought to you by Ogio. OgioPowersports.com. Code ACJB15 for 15% off your order. You want to get dialed in like Adam and I for travel. Rig 9800, best gear bag in the business. You want the four-wheeler to travel with some with your carry-on luggage like I do. Put your backpack. So my program every week is the four-wheeler with the backpack just hinged right on it. You can slide the little sleeve over the handle. It's unbelievable.
Special.
It's unbelievable.
Efficiency.
Yeah. So, well, and look, I'm going to preface this with, I don't want to put you in a tough spot, Adam.
Okay.
I don't want to put you in a tough spot.
Okay.
But I'm going to have to back you up into a little bit of a corner here, because we've got to talk about Chase Sexton and Monster Energy Kawasaki. We've got to talk about him.
Yeah, we do.
He's got one podium in 5 races. Jason Anderson, who they got rid of for Chase Sexton, had 3 podiums in 5 races to start 2025, to start last season. And I think any of us, and look, I'm as guilty as anybody, because you know how I felt about this switch. Anyone who listens to this show, they know how I felt about it. I was high on this Chase to Kawasaki. What's going on, dude? What's happening? We weren't in the mix in qualifying. We were really nowhere to be seen in the main event. Just a straight up 7th, 58.1 was the best lap time. Tomac did a 57 with a bent up motorcycle and a bent up body. The floor is yours, dude. Let's unpack it.
Yeah, let's unpack it. All right, so from my vantage point, last week, I saw this trend start happening last week in Houston. Chase really hasn't looked like himself on the bike since Anaheim 2. And when I was watching him in Houston in practice, Chase is normally one of the best dudes in the corners. And that's where you're making up a lot of time right now, is that from the entry right in the middle of the turns. I mean, these guys, you remember back in the day, dude, you were taught to get on the gas in the middle of the turn, brake super hard, get on the gas in the middle of the turn. I mean, these guys barely brake now. And they come in with so much speed, so much lean angle. So if you're not at that level in the turns, it's going to be very obvious. And it's been obvious for me. Chase in the middle of the corners right now, I don't know if it's a setup thing. I don't know if he's not confident in the bike, if he doesn't know what the bike is going to do. I don't know what's holding him back. I'm on the outside looking in. But he's normally head super center over the bars, like very balanced in the corners. And that's one thing that I struggled with, and a lot of people do when you're trying to carry that much speed in. Easy to get a little too far to the outside, a little too far to the inside. But he's always been one of the best guys in the corners, and his corners have not been good the past couple weekends. And I guess we can, from the outside, we can try to troubleshoot it a little bit. But I mean, if I had to just guess, it's really difficult when you have to set your motorcycle up. You have to know how to set your bike up, and you got to have a good setup if you're going to win. Like you can't just be unbelievably talented and very fit and work really hard and go and win a bunch of races. Like you have to have a good setup. You have to know what you need to go out there and compete for wins. And I don't know if because the bike looked good to me at Anaheim too. I mean, it clearly was good enough for him to win. He wasn't even, dude, once he got to the lead, he wasn't even pushing that hard. Like, he backed it down. I love that ride. And I don't know if he's in this rabbit hole right now of trying to find the perfect setup. But it's difficult when you find yourself in that place and you're chasing something, because every time you go on the track, the bike's different. And it's exactly the opposite of what I see with Ken Roczen. Like, Ken is riding the bike right now with and Eli too, Prado, a lot of these guys, with so much conviction. It's like they know exactly what the bike is going to do and what they can get away with. What did Kenny just say? In those 90-degree turns where there's a half-inch little groove, you have to be able to know how much you can lean the bike over, how fast you can come into that turn. If you do it in first to weight the front, or you can shift to second and just allow yourself to roll through the turn. All these little things you have to know. And when you're trying to find a perfect setup and you're changing stuff every single day, and I don't know, man, maybe it's necessary. Maybe what Chase rode on an A2, maybe he knows that that's not going to be good enough once we get to the end of the year. But regardless, he just did not look comfortable on the motorcycle. Even more so, Houston, he didn't look that good. But this weekend, start to finish, is probably the least comfortable I've seen him on a 450 in Supercross so far. Because you know how it is, even when he's a little off or whatever, he's almost always has that lap in qualifying that makes you go, wow.
Always, yeah.
And with it being a more high-speed track and not a lot of traction, I think that will make some things stand out. I think it could be easy if you're a little off. I think it's going to show up a lot on a fast racetrack. But I don't know, man. I don't have all the answers. I mean, we know that Chase is capable of winning 6 races in a row at any given moment. And I don't even know. I don't even know if they did a lot of testing last week. It's not like I'm calling Chase every other day being like, dude, where are we at? And when I see him, we talk about golf and whatever else. I don't talk about any of this stuff. It's obviously, yeah, I mean, it's a tough spot for me. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, and he's struggling right now, but I think he'd be the first one to tell you. I don't know if you saw his Instagram post, but he was basically like, sorry, guys, that was all I had. And that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. I guess the one positive thing that I would take away is that I think in years past with Chase, he's coming through the field and he's not feeling that comfortable. I think he pushes, keeps pushing, can't accept it. Like, just keeps pushing and then compounds the mistakes and then ends up getting 15. So I do like the fact that he was like, dude, I'm a 7th place guy tonight. And he did just enough to keep, because AP was riding good this weekend. He did just enough to keep AP behind him. But I don't know, JB. That's all I got for you. We know how quickly it's funny because we had this show 2 weeks ago, and we were obviously high on Chase after he won A2, but we know he can do that. And it wouldn't surprise you or me both for him to go and win by 10 seconds this weekend either. But things change very quickly in the sport. And if you don't have everything together, especially with the guys in the form they're in right now at the front, you're going to get exposed.
Yeah, and the only reason I mention this is because, you know, me personally, and I know you do as well, we hold him to such a high regard because of how good he is. I spent a lot of days at the test track with him at Honda, and he's special, man.
Unbelievable.
He's so special, and everyone knows that. And the reason I mention it is because this is maybe the first time ever in the 450 class where from top to bottom, from the start of the day to the end of the day, we never really seen a glimpse of Chase Sexton. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't that lap, there wasn't that section, there wasn't that quad, there's always something. I think we could pull out something from every race that he's ever done on a 450. We're like, check this out. Like, look how good this guy is. I don't care if it's Honda, KTM, and we've already seen it on Kawasaki. That's the thing. So that's why I don't know how big of a deal it is, the Kawasaki, but we've already seen it on this motorcycle too. So that was the first day that maybe top to bottom we're like, but who knows? Maybe he was sick. Maybe he had a crash last week. There's things that we don't know. Even as insiders, there's still things that we don't know. Who knows? Don't want to speculate, but
I was in the Cali rig making my lunch. I had great tacos this week.
Yeah,
Shout
you were
out to
bragging
Cali.
about the tacos. You like those?
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah.
And their espresso machine, don't even get me started. But
really better than Honda's? I need to start going over there to get a coffee?
I don't know. Honda's setup, we used to have kind of the Honda setup in our rig coffee. Yeah. But now I think it's more of a more basic Nespresso machine in there now, but it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. But I saw Chase in there, and he was upbeat, light, happy, taking time with fans. Like after the autograph signing, he was going to the Monster Rig Riot deal, and he was outside signing for people and super engaging. So I guess I was a little surprised by that because clearly practice didn't go great, and he's used to crushing qualifying practice. I mean, I don't think anybody's been. Yeah, it's automatic. Mm-hmm. But dude, it's a great point. And right now, it would be different if there was only Cooper Webb out there, or only Eli Tomac, or only Ken Roczen, or only Hunter Lawrence. But he's got to get the train on the tracks quick. What is he, 17 back now?
17 back, 5th in the championship. And just like Ken said, Ken was at that point last week where it's like one way, either way, it can be like make or break. So this weekend, if he loses another 5 to 10 points, and now you're down a full race, things look way different. The series looks way different than it does today.
And this is kind of the same thing. It's kind of Webb's situation going into Houston already. I mean, it's early days. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. But you start getting back there around 20 down, 25 down, you want to talk about some razor-thin margins. I mean, you might have to win 7 races in a row or something crazy. Because you're planning on Ken, Hunter, you're planning on all of those top 4 guys throwing it away, making a mistake. Maybe 1 or 2 of them will, but not all 4 did.
Well, last year, wasn't it? Didn't he win 5 of the last 6 or 6 of the last 7? And that still wasn't enough to beat Webb?
Well, you know how these championships are, and you just talked about it. You know, this was Kenny's weekend for that. It could go one way or another, and that's why Cooper Webb is so much more impressive, I guess, in real life when you know the full picture than just what you see on paper. Like Cooper Webb is greater than his whatever 30-plus wins and 3 championships or whatever because he always performs when he absolutely needs to. I mean, if there's been 15 of those races for Cooper Webb, 14 of them, he's pulled it out. And that's why we never stop talking about how impressive that is. And Chase has one of those moments coming up this weekend, dude. There's no time. He's got to figure it out.
You know, one of my favorite quotes of all time it came from our friend RC, Ricky Carmichael. Yeah, I forget what it was. You probably know exactly what it was. It was like one of the great outdoors or something. He said, I do what I have to do when I have to do it. And I'm like, dang. I heard that when I was like 21 or something. I'm like,
testosterone levels just went through the roof.
And the thing was, he did every time. Every time he had to do something. So it just reminded me of that. Because Coop's very similar to your point. When he has to get something done, when his back is all the way against the wall, he's like, bring it on.
Hey, how about Coop this weekend? He gets another podium there. What his average finish there is like a 7th or something. He's probably speed wise, maybe, I don't know, 5th or 6th place guy there. I think he would probably even admit that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But I think he did I love what he did, and I applaud the lack of ego. Because there's 2 ways you can look at his race. You could say that he didn't have the pace of the front 2, which I do think there's an element to that. I don't think he had what Kenny had, and I think Hunter was a little better than him as well. Mm-hmm. But once he for sure knew Tomac was down. Once we got about halfway through that race and he had a good distance on 4th, to me, I was watching, and next thing you know, Hunter just had dropped him, and he was, I don't know, 10 seconds behind Hunter or something. But dude, I think that's just risk management. I think he knew that for himself, speed wise, if he was going to make a pass on Hunter, potentially get second, I think he knew that probably wasn't in the cards, and it was a risk assessment thing. And he's like, all right, guys, third's good tonight. See you guys next weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right, dude. That's a great point. And at the point when he decided that, he had already done enough to drop Jay Coop,
Yep.
who was fourth. So it's like he went with them for as long as he possibly could, and he's like, look back, all right, I'm good. Third's good here.
I gotta say, and this will be a good segue into our next guy. But I gotta say, I'm impressed with Coop in the whoops this weekend.
Yeah, he was good.
He was good. He was really good.
Do you notice his line every lap though?
Tell me.
Right up against the bales on the inside.
Yeah, then would he swing out like right at the end of the whoops?
Right at the very end to open up the turn just a touch. But I would have to think that's like a play from like the beginning of the day. And of course the whoops are a little bit more fresh over there, but then some guys did go there. But you just have to think with his smarts, even if someone is faster, even if a Kenny or whoever is a little bit faster in the whoops, if Coop takes that line, you can't pass him.
Can't pass him.
You're not going to be so much faster down the left side where you can just go around the outside of him. So he's just so smart. But he would bring a lot of speed in. He did. And actually, Jay Coop looked pretty good there too.
He did.
Like he was bringing some speed in off of that big double. So both of those guys, big improvement.
All right, let me ask you a question. Who gets a win first? Justin Cooper or Jorge Prado?
Oh, man. That's a really good question. We should do like some sort of fan poll. What do you listeners think? Who do you think gets a win first? Justin Cooper or Jorge Prado? That's a great question, Adam.
I mean, Prado this weekend, dude. Gosh. Unreal. 3 out of 5 heat wins. I know we're not paying points for heats, but it doesn't matter. Fastest in qualifying on that type of track. These guys, I mean, we had footage on RDL of Tomac winning there 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was Jorge's first time to Glendale. And he goes out there, dude, and just lays one down.
You know, it's funny. I was talking to Rich Simmons over there, the team manager of Star Yamaha, the 450 program. We were talking, and Jay Coop walked up, and this was on Friday, I believe. And Jay Coop's like, "Hey, I watched Toronto," and I'm like, "Oh, what year?" He's like, 2012, because I had told him, so everyone knows I went down there and worked with Jay Coop in the whoops for a couple of days down at the Star facility and whatever. Like I really like him. I think he's a really good kid, a high ceiling, and Rich is one of my best buddies. So helped him out a little bit, and I had told him that I lost some races in my day by trying to skim till the bitter end because I would not jump. And RV would, that year, 2012 in particular, I lost 2 or 3 races literally because of that. So it's funny. So he watched one that I lost. It was Toronto 2012. I'm trying to skim the whoops. RV's jumping. RV beats me. And so he was watching that race. And then we got to talking about how tough it is to win one of these things. Because in 2012, I would have thought, I'm going to win like 10 of these things. Man, I've been so close. I'm going to win 10 of them. And then Rich had brought up 2014. RV passed me at Phoenix, 2 to go. And I could have taken a shot at him on the last lap with 2 turns to go. And Rich goes, if you know what you know now, would you have taken the shot? And I'm like, I don't know. And then Jay Coop got on the subject of like, almost like, should he take the shot if he gets an opportunity? And we're like, heck yeah, man, these things, I'm telling you, I'm living proof that these things are so hard to come by. So if you get a chance, if you get a shot, yes, absolutely, go for it. Do what you have to do. So it's just kind of funny now talking about this. If one of them are in position to win, and I was just thinking if Jay Coop's ever in position to win, I expect him to it's probably going to be pretty aggressive. But in saying all that, dude, I have to go with Jorge Prado. Right now, as we sit here today, I feel like Prado has a better shot because of the trajectory and being so new to Supercross
and the starts.
And his starts.
The starts are huge.
Yeah.
He just gives himself so many opportunities to do it. And dude, we have to break down that clip of Jorge in the whoops and RDL with his toes pointed in like that. I mean,
yeah,
dude,
that was cool.
that in order to, I mean, feet position, for those that don't know, feet position in the whoops, it makes such a dramatic difference where your feet are. My thing was I always struggled. I'm a bit like knobby kneed. Like my knees kind of come in and they go out like that. And so there would always be a little distance between the inside of my boot and the frame, which would get me into some trouble in the whoops, especially later in my career. But to have your feet like that in the whoops on a qualifying lap in practice when you're just absolutely sending it. And we watched him hit whoops last year. In the offseason, when he first got on the Cowie, he crashed and like broke his hand in the whoops. He really hasn't, it's not much of an offseason, a couple months. But in order for you always fall back in a race situation, even in practice at the race, you typically fall back to your worst habits. Like, so that's why you have to practice doing it the right way so many times, is so that in those situations you fall back on what you've done during the week. And to see him with his toes pointed in like that and just hit the whoops perfectly, head over the bars, neutral, perfect body position, throttle control, clutch, everything. I just thought to myself, it's a combination of the guy's obviously extremely talented, gifted on the bike. But how many times you have to do that? How many times you have to do that to be able to go to a race, go 125% for a lap in qualifying and do it perfectly? Especially off that double, you're carrying so much speed in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, dude. Impressive. We've been high on Prado so far this year, but for good reason, because he deserves it, man. He took about as much heat as you could possibly take last year, and he has been unbelievable. I don't know how that happens.
So who's your pick? Who gets a win first?
Yeah, I guess I got to go with Prado right now. I really do. I mean, because speed-wise, like Jay Coop, it wouldn't surprise us if Jay Coop went P1 like this weekend or last weekend or whatever. He's got that raw speed. But so far, and they rode the race together, 4 and 5, pretty much the whole time. They were right there. So speed's pretty similar as of now. But I trust Jorge's starts more. So I got to give him the nod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who else? Yep. Anybody else in 450?
No, just another shout out to Joey Savacci. He's doing it, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's good.
I hope he has top 10 bonuses in his contract.
Yeah, I should find that out. We should ask him. He'd tell us.
That's a good
but he was P1 for a little bit in qualifying.
Yep.
That was cool to see.
So was AP, too. Fist pumping the crowd and everything.
That was cool. AP's back. He had a good ride. And also, last thing, shout out to Dylan Frannis. I was walking to rental car this weekend and seen him in the parking lot, and we had heard that he was out of the first qualifying session or whatever. Well, he got roosted and hit in the eye with a rock or a piece of dirt or whatever, and blood was all over the place. So he only really got one qualifying session. He had to go to the Alpine Star Mobile Medical Unit to get some stitches and still rode his way to a solid top 10. So shout out to Dylan. Quietly having a good season.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. And for a new motorcycle, too, I mean, dude, that's tough.
It is. Yep.
He's been so much better in the whoops this year on that Ducati.
I need to pay attention to that because, to be honest, I haven't really noticed it.
Yeah, he's so much better in the whoops. Just looks more confident on the motorcycle. And I have a lot of memories of racing with him. He is one bad man. He is good on a dirt bike, dude. I think he's got. How good he is. Huh?
People forget how good he is.
Dude, he's got more in the tank.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, before we move on to the 250 class, I already talked about SKDA. Go to skda.com. Get your new graphics kit. Ogio, thanks to ogiopowersports.com. If you want to get some bags like AC and I, we get you a little discount, 15% off. Code ACJB15. Get you any bag there. Dial in your travel, gear bag, all that. Smartop spa cover. It's hot tub season. AC, I've been sitting in mine. If you need a hot tub cover, go to smartopspacover.com. And also firepowerparts.com. We'll talk more about them here in just a little bit. But 250 class.
Let me take this one. You put me on the spot earlier,
all
brother.
Right.
and I'm going to hit you with my Smartop surprise.
Okay.
Of the weekend.
I know where you're going.
It's not good.
No, it's not.
It's not good. I mean, it's a dumpster fire right now, man. It really, really is. And dude, I love this dude. I really do. I love Max Anstie. He is a great dude. I enjoy talking with him. We had him on the show after A1. And no doubt, like he's unreal on a bike. But dude, the perception is the perception right now. He was leading San Diego, great win at A1. We're thinking, wow, this guy, he may have it with his starts being good. Deegan's starts were bad to start the year. There was a brief second in time where we thought maybe this might be at least a little interesting. And they got into it at San Diego. Deegan got in his face during the week, next week, when he got out of the truck at the practice facility. Drama there. Team sits him down. Whole deal. But Max hasn't been the same. I mean, he had the race 3 at Houston. He got a good start, rode really well, got second. I was like, okay, we're back. We're back on track. We're going to be there. But, dude, across the board, I know that qualifying is not his deal. As you pointed out to me, he qualified, 8th at Anaheim 1, won the race. I think he was 10th in qualifying this weekend. Starts have been bad. It looks like even watching him go through rhythm sections and stuff right now, like he's not pushing the lanes. It's like he's just out there doing the jumps at the moment. And, I'm sure he's unbelievably frustrated with what's going on. It doesn't bring me great pleasure to like point out someone's mistakes because I've been that guy. But, yeah, I guess from your view, Maxwell, what's going on, man?
It's a great question. And I agree with everything you said. I mean, coming into the season, I'm going to battle for this championship. Really the past 2 years, you think about since he signed with Star Yamaha, it's like, all right, now he's a championship guy, wins Tampa to start the year last year. Had the red plate, was great in Detroit, should have won that race as well, was on his way to potentially winning the championship, breaks his legs, and then comes in this year thinking, all right, here we go again. You win Anaheim 1. And it's like, and even from his words, talking to him all the time, he's like his starts were automatic. His speed was there. The bike was incredible. And since San Diego, it has not been the same. The only thing that I could theorize, and he hasn't said this, this is just what I'm kind of thinking, is Hayden is the fastest guy in the class. He's the best 250 rider on the planet right now. There's no question. There's no question. So I feel like, I don't know if Max doesn't want to go head to head with him anymore. So the starts have gotten worse.
Like
I don't know if what's that?
Like he just doesn't have, because that happens. And I didn't mention that when we were talking about Sexton. It's kind of the same thing. Like when you're not comfortable on the bike and you don't feel like you have it, it's difficult to have the conviction, the determination you need to get to the first turn first. Because you got to want it more than you want to take your next breath.
Exactly. So then I don't know if that's sort of the case. I honestly feel like he could, the way he was riding to start the year and even last year, I mean, this is obviously exaggerating, but I feel like he could qualify top 5 blindfolded. Like he's that good a rider.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
So honestly, I don't know. I feel like it's got to be somewhat of a mental thing, obviously. And I think he's just working through it. I think in this position, you and I have been there, you just go back to the basics. You go back to whatever setup you had at Anaheim. You don't touch the motorcycle. You do some starts, and you try to just execute the race in 3 phases of get to the first turn first, execute everything you can throughout the middle of the race, and try to finish strong. And I think that's what he was doing to start the year and didn't really think about where people are. There's always this to the middle of the season, especially the 450 class, there starts to get a pecking order of like, no matter where you start, you kind of finish. The good guys get good starts, the middle guys get middle starts, and the bad guys get bad starts. It seems like it happens every race, except for Vince. Of course, Vince just gets a good start no matter what, and then goes to the back. But Yeah, you just got to regroup. If you're Max, you just have
Yeah.
you have to regroup. It's in there obviously, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wins this weekend in Seattle, especially if it's muddy. I mean, he's my pick if it's muddy for
He's
sure.
good in the
So
mud. Well, didn't he won a mud race at MetLife in 23, right?
He did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That one was really muddy, huh?
When I watch, and you know me, and if people, I think I'm kind of unique in the fact that, I don't know, maybe from people that see me and like on the show, for example, or followed my career, watched podcasts and stuff that I've done, they would say that I'm professional and like pretty put together. I try to be. I mean, nobody can touch JB10 over here, but you know, dude, I love to just talk crazy.
Yeah,
like, if people heard the stuff that I say, like what to each other, like in between takes and stuff, and it's all, it's not deep. It's not like this crazy talk. It's not like deeply rooted. I just, you know me, I'm a shock value guy.
Dude, rehearsal at RDL.
Oh yeah.
Like 10 minutes before we go live, you had the best one of the season.
Dude. Yeah. For you guys, we 30 minutes, we normally go live, 10 a.m. Eastern. So we get there like an hour early, do rehearsal 30 minutes before, and I went raw, just full unfiltered with my 250 keys to the race. I had Mark dying. I had the whole TV truck was dying. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. 1 o'clock Eastern, we go live. For everyone out there, 1 o'clock Eastern.
1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Yeah. My bad.
Yep. Yeah.
But when I watch Max ride right now, I'm like, do we need to go beat him up in the parking lot and piss him off or something? I just am like, gosh, he just looks a little defeated right now, which I get it. And dude, he's going up against, I mean, let's be honest, he's going up against a generational talent. If Hayden Deegan was on the East Coast, I think it would be a little different. But again, when you have someone that's that great, it's very easy to kind of get exposed, And the one thing that I'll trace all this back to is interviews after San Diego. He said, well, I'm going to keep getting the whole shot. Hayden's starts are bad. And since then, it's been the opposite, dude. Hayden is really and I applaud that. I really do applaud that from Hayden to be able to, because something like starts, it's such a feel thing and mental thing. And for him, he's really answered the call there. Because you just can't afford to be an inconsistent starter in the 450 class if you're going to be a championship guy. You got to figure out a way to be at least in the top 5, and he's done that. But yeah, of course, look, Max is awesome. None of this stuff is personal at all. There's a million things behind the scenes I don't know, so we'll keep that in mind when we say these things. But yes, on a purely professional level, from the outside looking in, he's like that guy in Dodgeball, the guy with the glasses that sees his wife in the stands with another man. We got to get some of that rage going, I think. Let's rage him out a little bit.
So I'll let him know that if he sees you walking up to him and you look mad in the pits this weekend in Seattle, like just double leg you and start going at it.
Yeah.
Just start going at it. And then he wins the race. Then that'll be a weekend deal. You and Max.
Oh man, I really wish that. I wish that we could have a podcast where we just only hype the dudes up. Because really, I mean, that's what I get the most enjoyment out of doing in this role is spotlighting these guys. And because we have firsthand knowledge and we know how difficult it is, it puts us in a unique position to just highlight how difficult it is to do. And all the amazing things you have to do to be as good as someone like Max. I don't get the same enjoyment out of calling it like I see it when somebody's not doing well. I've probably said this on the show. If you guys listen all the time, I probably said this same thing 15 times. Because there's, it's like I'm a rider too. Like I'm still a rider and I want to fight for the riders no matter what. So yeah, if you guys hear me talking negative on someone, no, I don't like it. I really don't.
It's out of a respect thing too, though. Like you respect Chase so much. That's why we're talking about him. And you respect his skills so much. And then Max, it's the same thing for both of us. Like it's just a standard we hold them to. And most of the time we hold them to a high standard because we're big fans of them.
Yeah.
We're just kind of wondering why. And that's what the listeners want to hear anyways. Like, hey, what's going on? Like, what? Max hasn't been the same. Wonder what Adam thinks.
I appreciate that. I'm going to sleep better tonight. Thanks, Justin. Hey, but let's turn it around on a more positive note. We could talk about Hayden, but we've said everything there is to say about him. A little new celebration for him over the line this week. He did the arrow in the corner.
He ran out of bullets.
Yeah.
Your boy Cam Haynes got him a bone arrow.
Yeah. Shout out to Cameron Haynes. Cameron, I think he's going to come on Race Day Live this weekend, I think.
Is he? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a Pacific Northwest guy. He's awesome, man. I love that dude.
Dude, I hate to interrupt, but I just got a picture. I just got some new black wheels for my Sprinter van. Shout out to Joel Suggs, my guy at Honda Cars of Rock Hill. Dude, it looks good.
Hey, actually,
it looks good.
It's a good time to bring this up. So what am I supposed to be the play-by-play guy and the analyst on Race Day Live when you're at Spring Nationals with your son?
No, man,
coming up.
There. We've got a long ways to go. That's funny.
It's coming up.
It is supposed to be 70 tomorrow, so we're grinding. We're going on to Pub Mex tomorrow.
You know, I love your son, dude. He's awesome. But selfishly, I hope he just wants to do dirt bike racing for fun, because I've seen how it goes, dude. I saw with Nick Way the same thing. If he's like really gets into it, I don't know how long I'll have you on RDL, dude. I don't know.
Oh man.
Let's move on.
We'll see.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
Levi Kitchen, dude. Unbelievable. What a ride through the field. But that being said, I don't know how you botch a start that bad. In the 450 class, I can understand it a little better because all those guys really know how to get out of the gate. But the 10 to 20 guys in the 250 divisional Supercross round, they're not super polished out of the gate, dude. It's hard. It's actually difficult to get a 19th place start. It's difficult to do that.
We've got two options at this point, AC. We've got two options. Option one, we need to get Tony Alessi on the phone, and we need to get him to Seattle, and we need to get him on the stopwatch. And we're counting to 6.5, and we're dumping the gate.
That's what I'm saying. Because Go ahead.
No, go for it. That's option A.
I would have rather Levi 30. So for those that don't know, 30-second board goes sideways between, is it 5 and 8 seconds or 5 and 10 seconds?
5 to 10.
5 to 10 seconds once the board goes sideways. If I'm Levi, I'm paying attention all day long, qualifying, heats, whatever, because a lot of times there's a trend with how long you think back to San Francisco 2024 and Chase getting like a 4 bike length head start. Yeah, dude, that wasn't just like good technique. He knew when the gate was dropping. I would have rather him rip the gate off the hinges and gone over the handlebars or looped it out than do what he did this weekend. Because we were just talking to Ken off air too, and we filmed that segment. He said the same thing. Isn't it nuts? Like that Levi is the best he's ever been on a bike. I mean, that ride through the field. I do remember a couple years ago him at Seattle, maybe his best ride ever. He won that race by like 20 seconds or something. But you could have every single thing right except starts, and you're just never gonna. Especially when Hayden Deegan is the guy you're going against. I mean, Hayden Deegan's not there. The guy goes last to first.
Yeah.
It was an unbelievable ride, and I'm very encouraged by that, like by Levi's riding. It's unbelievable, and he clearly is very fit because he was fast until the very last lap. But got to get a start, dude. We're dumping the clutch this weekend. Maybe let's start in third gear wide open.
Just go at 6.2.
Yeah.
So option A, we're getting TA to Seattle this weekend. We got to get him there. Option B is We need to go way outside. I mean, way outside and line up next to Aiden Shive and Colby Kopp or something. I don't know. Shive, he got the whole shot in the LCQ from the inside, so maybe we're not lining up next to him either. Maybe how's Crockett Myers and Rodbo out of the gate? Are they all right? Can we beat them at this point or no?
I don't know, man.
Dude, we've got a pro circuit, Kawasaki. We can whole shot those guys. So option one, we're dumping the clutch. We're ripping the gate off the hinges, like you said. Option two is we're lining up like 4 gates from the outside next to a bunch of privateers they've got about 42 horsepower compared to the PC Cow who's got 54. And we've got to, I mean, no matter how we get out of the gate, we've got to at least get halfway down the straightaway in front of these guys. Which option do you like better? Where are we going?
I don't know. I mean, I think if you're Levi at this point, you got to just think to yourself, because when you're getting bad starts, and we've all fallen into that pattern, starts are such a feel thing. Always go back to the golf swing. Golf, you can shoot 80, wake up the next day, feel like you're doing the same exact thing, and you shoot 110. That's kind of how starts are a little bit. It really is such a feel and confidence. So much of it is mental. At this point, I think it's easy when you're getting bad starts to fall into the like putting so much emphasis on it in your head. And sometimes you can almost overthink your way into continuing to be in that rut. But what I want to see is a change in technique. I think he sits too far forward on the bike, and I've been guilty of doing that at times too. The problem with that is when you release the clutch and there's that much traction, there's only one way your body can go, and that's back. And when you slide back, you end up having to double clutch it out of the gate, and it's a nightmare. So I would like to see him, even if he doesn't, I don't know, does he ride with a seat hump on his bike?
I'm not sure.
Well, if he doesn't, I would like to see a little seat hump on the bike, exactly where his butt should be on the start. So he knows exactly where to sit. And he probably needs to do, I would say, if he rides 3 times this week, 50 starts a day.
Oh, wow.
And hammer a different technique. And then figure out a way to hypnotize yourself into being like, I'm the best starter in the business, and I've got nothing to lose. And then take that to the gate this weekend.
Okay.
That or hit the gate. My dad used to say that to me sometimes.
Really?
Like if I got like a 5th place start or something, he would have been like, dude, I would have rather you stalled it. I'm like, all right. Copy that.
Wow.
Yeah, well, but unbelievable ride.
He did ride unbelievable. The ride was incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. I don't know, I don't know what he's going to do about that arrow in the side of his bike, or if it actually hit him or what, but
well, the guys are most of the guys I think Hunter, Aaron Plessinger, a lot of riders were on my flight back to Orange County this weekend. A lot of the guys are staying in California between Glendale and Seattle because it's on the West Coast. So I'm sure Dr. G or Navarro, whoever Levi uses, I think he uses Navarro. Navarro will sort him out.
Yeah, get him dialed in.
Get on the PMF magnet machine, tighten up the wound.
All right. So he'll be good for Seattle. He's good in Seattle.
He's unbelievable in Seattle.
Yeah. That's what I always reference. You want to know how good Levi Kitchen is? Just watch Seattle from last year or the year before. Him and RJ.
I think my last thing in the 250 class, we had a Lux Turner sighting this weekend.
We did.
And we're very high on Lux Turner.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the story that he told us at Media Day? About how he got into racing?
Oh,
and then they had some financial trouble.
Yeah.
He stopped racing for like 5 years. Then when he's like, 15 or 16, his parents said he could basically work 2 weeks at home and then go drive down to Southern California and train.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he did for a while. And so this guy is going to be a late bloomer. I mean, really, this is the first time we've had a consistent program. And we saw him in Australia. He was great. And he led some laps of the heat race, got past at the end, ended up getting third. I think he was 11th in the main event.
He was 11th, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so we're making some gains. I think that's a future. I think that's a future podium guy. I don't know if it's next year, 2 years, whatever, but he's good, really good.
I was just looking at his lap time. 59.3 was his best lap in the main. Now, the reason most likely that he's finishing 11th or like that. Well, and he was good in qualifying. I don't know if you mentioned that. I believe he was top 5 in the first session, which is really good. But fitness-wise, we're not there yet because lack of time on the motorcycle. But speed-wise, so he did a 59.3 in the main. That's faster than Volan, Yoder, Anstie. Like, that's how fast he is. So he's got some speed. For instance, like Rider D was a 58.5. Lux was a 59.3. Max Volan was a 59.5 to Lux's 59.3. So time, we're good. We're fine speed-wise. Need a little more fitness, and we'll be right where we need to be. Think he's a podium guy. I do. You know who's giving us crap about that?
Who?
He was over Texas this week, and on Saturday was our buddy Mathis. Keeps hammering us about Lux Turner because we were high on him coming into the season.
So after RDL, I go get lunch, and then I normally come back to the stadium, and then I go up to the press box somewhere that's kind of quiet, tucked away, because it's a lot of talking, and I'm introverted, and I need a second. But Mathis came up to us in the press box this weekend. I'm playing NBA 2K26 on my Nintendo Switch up there, just chilling, having a coffee. It's a great time. Mathis came up and said that he never sees me. I think that's BS, dude. I'm all up in the mix. I'm always chatting people up.
You are, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what he's talking about, man.
Maybe he's avoiding you.
I think so.
Maybe he's in the wrong spots.
You notice that I used to be on Pulp MX all the time, and then we started our podcast. You think Steve's threatened?
Yeah, he doesn't invite you on anymore, huh?
No, dude, it's brutal.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Everybody go give at Pulp MX on X some crap for us. Please.
Yeah. Let him know how good the AC and JB show is.
So good.
Let's hammer it in this week. Let's do it.
What else you got?
Firepowerparts.com. You need some full drivetrain components, chain sprockets, need some controls, some wheels, some stands. AC, I know you got you a new stand over there. You're putting your bike on the stand and all that. And a gas jug. I don't know if you need a new gas jug, AC, but I'm proud of you. You actually have a gas jug and you're putting gas in your bike. But if you need another one, I can get you one at firepowerparts.com.
Well, yeah, I may need another one. But you know one thing, and I went to our local shop here, Temecula Motorsports, a couple weeks ago. I got like some chain lube, some SC1, some Maxima Bio Wash, all these things. And like, yeah, could I get that stuff for free? Probably. But sometimes I'm just like, dude, this sport's been so good to me. I just feel a little greedy asking for free stuff. Like sometimes I need to just go to the shop and buy it like everyone else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It feels good to do that, actually.
Yeah. It's just like, come on, dude. Like that, I've gotten hooked up forever. Might as well give back a little bit.
Yeah.
What else?
Seattle bound, home of the Super Bowl champions. Hey, you think the city's going to be good this week? It's going to be going off, huh?
It's going to be going off, and I'm bringing my lady. It's Valentine's Day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Probably won't see you then, huh?
No,
Steve
probably
definitely won't
not,
see you this
dude.
week because I probably won't even see you.
We're gonna find a nice spot for dinner. I need to make a dinner res today, most likely. But I love Seattle. Like the hotel's always cool. It's like right there on the kind of in the harbor on the water. I mean, it's always raining or something. But last year we had a good time there, riding scooters around and whatnot.
Yeah, we did. That was fun.
Yeah, I dig it.
What about the top of what's the tower there? They have a restaurant up there?
Oh, that's a great call. I don't know. You would think, right?
I think they do.
What's
or
it
is that
called again?
Toronto? Is it the Space Needle?
Yeah, Space Needle.
Is it Space Needle? I thought maybe it was just the Needle. but
well, is there a restaurant up on top of the Space Needle?
Yeah, there is.
Ooh, that'd be cool. That'd be good.
It is called
the
Loop,
top of what's it called?
The Loop Lounge. It's got a rotating glass floor.
Oh yeah.
Couple glasses of wine, some apps.
Oh, wow.
I'm in.
Cole, we got any fan questions this week? Should we dive in?
Yes, we do. So, since you guys were talking about the Deegan kitchen stuff, first one is, do you think the Deegan antics at Levi will ever stop? It just feels repetitive at this point.
Will it ever stop?
Yeah, will it stop?
I mean, probably not. Probably not, especially if Hayden keeps having his way with him. And Levi just seems so over it, though. He's just not even paying it any attention, which I applaud him for, because that's got to be so hard.
Right? You either do that, like you either don't pay attention to it at all, or you tomahawk your bike into the side of Hayden Deegan every single time you're on the track until he stops. That's the only way it would ever stop, is if Levi completely threw away any hope of good results and just said, I'm going out there to ruin this guy's race every single time. Then there would be a truce at some point. But I do think it'll stop. I mean, it's going to stop when Hayden goes to the 450 class, because he's got, and even when Levi gets there, there's so many other dudes to worry about. Right. So, but yeah, I mean, all in all, like, harmless fun, I guess.
Yeah,
like the arrows and the finger guns and whatnot. I mean, it's fine. It's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Explain how exhaust sound affects performance, if at all. Do they just not want it loud? And that's, I'm assuming, in reference to the sound checks.
Well, you know what's weird about this is I was talking to Duff after qualifying. So Hayden qualifies fastest. Well, backing up a little bit. For everyone who doesn't know, the AMA, you go through tech inspection every Friday afternoon. And part of it is sound testing. You go up, you put your wheels exactly where they want you. There's basically a microphone there. They hold your bike wide open. There's a certain decibels that it has to be under. If it's not under that, you go try a different muffler that probably has more packing. I don't know the exact inside and outs of what muffler and how you make it quieter and this and that. So they do that. Then if you pass, which everyone who's on the track on Saturday has passed at some point, well, then they'll pull you over after qualifying, just in case you put a different muffler on that's louder or creates more power, whatever it is, just to make sure. Well, Hayden failed sound. They took his fast lap away. But Duff was telling me that they then tried it again or something, or that muffler passed the day before or didn't pass, and then he took it back like an hour later, and then it was like 1 or 2 decibels under. So like I'm a little confused on the inconsistency of it. I mean, we've seen Jorge Prado get docked some championship points after Anaheim. So I'm kind of thinking, like, look, no one's trying to cheat here. Like, they're trying to skate the line for sure. They're absolutely are. But no one's like blatantly, absolutely cheating. But I'm a little concerned about the inconsistency of these, the sound testing. Like when it is, what time it is it humid out, is it not, where it is? Sometimes that can affect it too, if there's like echoing. So I don't know, Adam. Do you have anything on that?
No, I don't. I didn't know that. That's good information there, though, JB. This whole deal kind of reminds me of, remember when they docked, I think they docked RC. It was either 05 or 06 for having too much lead in his fuel or something.
Fuel. Yeah,
it's like all this little stuff. Nobody's trying to cheat or anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those weird deals.
Yeah. But to their question, though, Cole, about power-wise, if it was just open, I'm pretty sure the louder ones do create a little more power. I think they can get more power potentially, but I think it's also, where do you want the power? Like they're so tunable these days, but I don't know. I don't know about the sound rule thing. I think just
we'll try to find out more.
Yeah.
So last one, because this could be a good one. I know it's different with time changes this season, but do riders practice Supercross at night under the lights to get used to artificial lighting and also change their sleep and practice time so they will be awake during night racing, like if you live in Florida on the East Coast and you go racing on the West Coast?
Nah.
It's a great question, because back in the day, Honda, it was at the two-stroke days. I believe it was Fonseca was on the team. And back in the two-stroke days, Adam, you probably weren't even born then, where we had carburetors on motorcycles. Do you know what those are?
Yeah.
Well, the jetting you'd have to change the jetting a lot at nighttime at the races. Well, Honda decided we're going to put lights up. I think KTM did it as well at one point. And it just ended up not working. The day just isn't the same. It's really difficult, super difficult. I think James had lights at his place, right?
James did,
so logistically, it just ends up being tough. There's not a lot to gain from it.
I will tell you, though, the first racing series I ever did at Bithlow in Orlando, Florida, Saturday night series race. And there's no doubt about it at all. Like, I remember for the racing kind of at night at the national level for the first time, Supercross, Monster Cup, that kind of stuff, US Open. There was no doubt that I felt at home doing that because I grew up racing on Saturday night.
Yeah. Dude, if I grew up doing a lot of fair races.
Yeah, you did.
Dude, if you would have showed up in like 99 at Hawkeye Downs in Cedar Rapids, night race, no shot.
That's early vet days for you too. Like, you're probably the youngest dude in 25 plus.
That's a wrap. We're on to Seattle.
I love you. I'm sorry.
We're on to Seattle. Can't wait.
We are. Hey,
date weekend for you. So I'll see you next Monday on the podcast.
Dude, come on.
Hold on. Someone wants to say hi real quick. You just got home from school. Say what's up to Adam.
Hey.
What up, dog? How was school?
Good.
What'd you learn?
Some math stuff and science about plants.
About plants?
I love that. Hey, Bex, why don't you sign off the show for us? Tell everybody, say, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Talking to that.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
See y'all.
Later.